Well, before we part, I thought it would be useful to give you a few thoughts that I have about the mindset that you should have while raising capital. I've worked with a lot of startups and a lot of founders, and there are a few things that I think that will help you not only look more attractive to investors and increase your chances of raising money, but also help you go through the difficult and emotionally demanding process of raising capital. So here goes 10 mindset tips plus one. The first is be practical. Practical means remember that the conversation is ultimately about money, about how investing in your startup is going to make money for your investor. Keep that in mind and remember to tie that in whenever it's relevant, because that's what the investors want and they will appreciate it. It will also help you keep it together. Second, as much as you are there to tell the investor about your company and about your vision, you should also be in a mode of inquiry and finding out about that investor. First of all, you want to know if they're a fit, but also you should be genuinely, as a person, interested in what they want and they need, and also understanding what they need will help you partner with them in a better way if it happens. The next is remember to be an expert. So you are the expert in your specific niche. You know a lot about it. That's why you're building a startup in a specific niche that you're at. And you are coming to an investor with that special knowledge, which they are very curious about. So maintain a position of an expert, also in the sense of holding the information and presenting it clearly, but also in the sense of how you keep yourself together. Just like a good doctor, you can't look needy, you can't look overexcited, overenthusiastic, just professional. Another point, which I think is a crucial point, this is point number 4, is that you're the leader. Founders sometimes forget that. They're so eager to raise money or so desperate after not being able to raise money for a while that they seem to come to an investor asking, sort of giving them the helm and allowing them to overpower them. No, this is your startup. This is your company. You're inviting the investor to join, but you remain the boss, and they should feel that, and you should remember that. Point number 5 is be strategic. Strategic means think about the long term and understand where the current conversation that you're at with an investor falls into the bigger picture. This will help you keep it together and also impress your investors as they see that you have the long-term vision in mind and that you are seeing things through the right lens. Another point number 6, is that you need to focus one step at a time. So you can't try to pressure an investor to jump ahead of the step that they're at. If you're meeting them for the first time, what you want now is to get into another meeting. Maybe this time meet along with their partners or whoever's helping them with due diligence or whatever, or just have a second meeting. If you're sending them a first email, you want them to get into a meeting. You're not solving 2 steps ahead, only 1 step ahead. Another point is, and that is relates to empathy, which I mentioned before. You need to have an attitude of giving and actually seeing and caring about the person that you're meeting. You are meeting a human being, even if they're snotty, even if they're a snob, it doesn't matter. You should train yourself to see the human in front of you, connect with them, and be open to helping them and bringing value to them just as much as you're trying to have them help you by investing in your startup. So this will elevate you to a point of equality with the investor that you're speaking with, and they will appreciate that, and it will also help you keep your equanimity no matter what the result of the conversation is. Which brings us to the next point, point number 8. You have to be really prepared to say no, not in some kind of imaginary sense, in an actual sense. If you don't like the investor, if they seem shady, if they seem condescending, if for any reason they make you feel uncomfortable, you should be able to say no to them. And by the way, doing cold outreach, what you've just learned in the course, will help you do that because you're reaching out to investors every day and you're going to meet investors regularly. So the investor that you're meeting now is just one investor. And if they're not a good fit, you're easily able to say goodbye and no thank you. Next point number 9, very important. Stay optimistic, and you should be shining with optimism. You are building a startup. You are building the future. You can't look worried and depressed, even if you're under a lot of pressure and you don't know how you're going to make payroll. Get yourself together and remember what's driving you and have your optimism shine out. Last is a point which I hope is obvious. Number 10 is just to be honest in all your communications. Don't inflate things. Don't try to present things that aren't there or try to do things that you can't account for. It just won't work. It's calamity waiting to happen. Don't cut the corners. Make it easy on yourself by just being 100% open and honest in every communication, from the smallest detail to the biggest detail, and that will help you in everything that you do. The last point, which we'll call it point 11 or point bonus, is just keep your cool. It's really, it can be really exhausting and emotionally difficult to handle a lot of no's, ghosting, all kinds of things that happen when you meet investors. Some of them might be rude to you. A lot of things can happen. Keep your cool. You're meeting investors regularly because you're reaching out to them regularly because you know how to do it now that you've taken the course. And you're in power. You're in the driver's seat. You're the boss. You're leading your startup, and you're going to take it to where you want it to go, no matter what happens today. And even if this meeting or at this point of time there's some difficulty or some trouble, you'll get through this. Good luck.